As we reported earlier this week, Pope Francis has named a new leader for a very important Vatican department, and his decision has created some controversy. The Holy Father picked Archbishop Victor Manuel Fernandez to lead the oldest Vatican group. Pope Francis says the position is a very valuable one. The Argentine-born bishop succeeds Cardinal Luis Ladaria, who served in the role since 2017, and the Holy Father's selection is creating waves. And joining us now from Rome is Matthew Bunson, Vice President and Editorial Director at EWTN News. Matthew, tell us more about the Archbishop Fernandez and his career in the Church.
Well, good to be with you here from Rome. Archbishop Fernandez has a very extensive academic career in the field of theology. Argentine-born, he studied actually here in Rome at the Gregorian University and then earned a doctorate in theology at the Catholic University of Argentina. He went on to be a very prolific writer in the field of theology with more than 300 works attached to his name. Some of those have been somewhat controversial over the years. In 2007, he really established himself as a theologian, however, as an expert or peritus at the Aparecida conference that brought together all of the bishops of Latin America. It was there that he first developed a very good personal and professional relationship with then Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio of Buenos Aires, who subsequently tried to have him appointed the rector of the Catholic University of Argentina. Once Pope Francis was elected, of course, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the Archbishop, or the future Archbishop, assumed a fairly prominent position as a writer for some of Pope Francis's major works. We know that he helped to draft, for example, Evangelii Gaudium, as well as Laudato Si on the environment, and the rather controversial post-synodal apostolic exhortation, Amoris Laetitia.
Matthew, there have been several controversies involving the Archbishop that have been raised since the announcement of his new role. What are they?
Well, that's absolutely right. Really, since the moment of his appointment by Pope Francis to this new position as prefect for the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, several controversies have been raised. The first dates back to his appointment as rector of the Catholic University of Argentina. There were objections apparently raised here in Rome for the appointment, and it took 2 years, in fact, for him to actually take his oath of office from 2009 to 2011. Immediately, almost within minutes, in fact, of the announcement, there was the specter raised of a book that he wrote in 1995, something of a treatise, a short treatise on kissing, of all things. And then there is the accusation that was raised by an organization called bishopsaccountability.org that they said it's very troubling that he was appointed to this position because when he was named the Archbishop of La Plata in Argentina in 2018 by Pope Francis and elevated to the rank of Archbishop, he, according to bishopsaccountability.org, was soft on the abuse crisis. The Archbishop, as the new prefect, has really shot back on all of these accusations, in particular the controversy surrounding his book, declaring that it was a book written by a young priest back in 1995, and also that it was intended to be a sort of catechesis for teens. The Archdiocese of La Plata also responded rather forcefully to the accusations by bishopsaccountability.org, saying that the Archbishop had been very firm in his handling of sex abuse cases. It was also noted that Pope Francis, in appointing him to the role of prefect, also stipulated that the handling of cases, which is now firmly in the hands of the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, is now sort of not to be handled by him, but by the very specific section of that dicastery. So the Archbishop clearly has an intent, a determination to respond to various accusations and various scandals or controversies that are surrounding him.
Why did Pope Francis choose him?
Well, this is a very personal appointment on the part of Pope Francis. He has known Archbishop Fernandez for many years, as I was just noting, dating all the way back to 2007. He is very much trusted by Pope Francis, and I think Pope Francis sees him as very much a reflection of his vision for the pontificate, for the Church, and in particular for the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith. Archbishop Fernandez is going to implement very clearly Pope Francis's program for theologians. This was made clear in Pope Francis's letter that accompanied the announcement of Archbishop Fernandez in his new role, that he is to focus on, as Pope Francis put it, guarding the faith. And that atmosphere, that reform of the dicastery of the doctrine of the faith, which has been underway now for a number of years, is in many ways complete with this appointment.
Matthew Bunson, Vice President and Editorial Director at EWTN News, thanks again.
Good to be with you.